Hi, I'm Emily, and this is the Wholesome Wave podcast. These conversations are to inspire emotional wellness, healing, and growth, because the change you create in yourself ripples outwards, transforming those around you and the generations to come. So today I'm joined by the lovely Renee. She's a mum navigating a full busy life with two neurodivergent children who are 8 and 11. She's had a bit of chronic pain and carries the emotional load that so many parents carry quietly. Renee has worked as a teacher aide in a primary school, mainly with neurodiverse children and children with extra needs. She's a qualified health and wellbeing coach and is also studying to become an occupational therapist. Like so many mothers, she had spent years surviving, coping, and pushing through, without understanding why everything felt so overwhelming inside her body. When we began working together, Renee said she was feeling pretty stretched thin, struggling with emotional regulation, ongoing physical pain, and the sense that there was never any time or space for her. She'd already tried lots of things to feel better: nutrition, body work, the gym, counselling, but something deeper still felt unresolved. And over the time we worked together in my emotional transformation coaching package, Renee began to uncover just how much her past experiences from her childhood wounds and survival patterns were still living in her body and shaping how she showed up as a partner and as a mum. Through emotional body release, inner child work, and lots of gentle reflection and self-compassion, she started to see herself and her children through a completely different lens. I'm so excited that Renee has really generously agreed to share some of her story with us today, in the hope that our conversation will be inspiring and empowering for mothers out there. And I've no doubt we might cover some hard things and some big feelings and the beautiful shifts as well.
Mhm.
Because my hope that if you're a parent out there, or simply someone who finds that you're holding a lot, perhaps you've got neurodivergent children too, that you'll hear yourself in her story and feel less alone and more hopeful about what's possible when we release the stress and the stored emotions that are weighing us down. So, Renee, thank you so much for being here and for being willing to share your experience. I really, really appreciate it. And I know your story will really speak to so many parents who are in the thick of it.
Hopefully.
I'm sure it will. So, Renee, should we just start by painting a picture for our listeners of what your life looked and felt like for you before we started working together? Maybe like what was happening day to day with the kids, the emotional load, the pain, the stress.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough time. Um, I was in a place where I had hit a bit of a rock bottom with work, wasn't feeling great at work, was going to go and have surgery on a shoulder. So just trying to get to grips with what that meant, not only for my family, but for my body. Um, my children were struggling, and life was just, it was just every day, just trying to get through every day, just go with the motion. There wasn't joy as such. There were moments, but it wasn't like we're living life to the fullest and we're just enjoying life. It was every day we had to work on something, and every day was just another demand, and we had to do this and we had to do that, and we've got to help them, and it just all felt way too much. It was just like, this isn't working. But as you said, I couldn't figure out what it was. I had started working on myself, where I went down this path of my health and wellbeing journey, which put me on to all the different courses I end up doing, learning more about my body, my mind, what can I do, talking to people, and trying to get my body healthy, especially going into surgery. And then sort of like figuring out, what does this mean for my children too, my family, and going down their health journey as well. So I'm a person that takes on quite a lot. I don't always stop due to my neurodivergence. Um, and it felt very overwhelming, as though I've done too much. What am I going to do? And I think that's where we were at the time, where it's just like everything had almost come to a standstill of, this isn't working. What do I do? And that's when I was introduced to you and thinking, what is this? This is interesting, curious. So I decided to, why the heck not? Let's see what this is about.
Amazing. Well, that curiosity can really open so much up for us in our lives. I'm sure there were some hesitations. Like what was maybe on your mind before we started working together? What were you curious about?
What exactly is this? This came to me as an opportunity. I was given this amazing opportunity, which is fantastic. I didn't know anything about it. Try to Google it, and you get all this different stuff. So I was very curious about, what is exactly emotional release? What is it going to do? What does it mean? Will it help me? Have I taken on something else that I shouldn't probably do because it's too much? Um, but at the same time, it's like, this sounds interesting. What is this, and how can this help me? So I think that's like what intrigued me. Um, and just a different angle to what I've already tried. I'm like, this isn't working, so maybe that will.
Yeah, and I think we get to that stage in our life, and this is where so often we've done the diet and we've done the lifestyle things and we've tried all these other things, and often it's not till once we've done those things that we feel ready to tackle the emotional, or maybe that's just when the emotional work comes into our world.
Mm,
So, what do you feel that you tried the massage and the diet and the counselling and the gym and all these other things,
yeah.
and what felt missing or still unresolved for you?
The emotional dysregulation. I
Mhm.
couldn't control the emotions. I know I've got ADHD. I know that that's really hard for us to organize and regulate, but it was like there was no fuse. The tiniest thing of my voice, and I'd explode. I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. And I couldn't understand it. I'm like, I've done this, I've done that. My gut's better, so why isn't my mind? Why do I feel tense? And why do I have this churning sensation in my gut when my husband is a little bit angry? It's like, what is going on? And that's when I realized, like, there's more. There's more to this. What is this, and where is this coming from? And I don't get it. I don't want to be that parent. But how do I change that? Because everything I tried, I'm like, okay, stay calm. And I'd sort of go and do it again. And I'm like, this isn't right. And I actually saw this thing about positive parenting and about positive psychology. And I'm like, oh, hang on. Okay. So how we parent and what we say and how we feel things can influence our children. I'm like, makes sense. But it wasn't until I started working with you that I understood my internal feelings, what I was vibrating out, I guess, that was impacting so much. And then it clicked for me. Then I went, ah, okay. Now I'm putting the pieces together. It's not just one part. It's not just diet. It's not just getting more exercise to help you regulate. Emotion and how we feel things is so important in modeling and portraying and showing our children what is right and what is wrong and what is it, what is life. And I had no idea at the time how big this was going to be.
Yeah. And I guess that's fairly typical for most of my clients. They come in with a problem in their life today and they're looking for, a few little answers. And then I guess we do open up quite a lot from the past. And there's suddenly all these realizations. Oh my goodness, like, oh, now I sort of start to see what's happening here. And
Mm.
so, what was it like to discover how much your childhood experiences were still influencing the way you showed up as an adult, as a partner, as a mum?
Hurtful. Like, what? How can that be such a huge influence? And I guess I felt almost broken. Um, and this is good because it is still so deep. We've done so much work together. And yet that is still such a tender part of me. And it just shows how much I want to be a good mum for my kids, how much I want to heal to give them the best thing in their life. And I'm okay with this now. I am, this is allowed. And I don't think before I started working with you, I wouldn't allow this. I would feel silly or weak. And it's not. This emotions are allowed to come out. This is a release. This is saying, I'm hurting, and that's okay. Um, yeah, it was hurtful to think that something from my past was influencing my children and how they reacted now. And I did. I felt broken. I felt not good enough as mum. Like, why do I have to be this such a big influence? And it's not my fault. It's no one's fault. It's just what it is. And the more we allow that, and the more I allow it, the calmer I am, and the more I understand my children, and the easier it is for me to step back, take a breath, and help them in the right way, I guess.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing here is there was a lot of realizations and a lot of softening towards yourself, acceptance of your tears,
Hmm.
acceptance of what you are feeling, rather than perhaps this critical, judgmental part of you saying you're a bad mum or you're not doing a good job or,
Yeah,
what are these tears? Get rid of them. You're weak.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's something that's probably been that I've learnt from a young age is to survive. And by showing what would be considered the weaker emotions, um, that wasn't okay. No, everything's fine. Back up, keep moving. You'll be fine. Move on. No, not anymore. Because that's not right. There are no weak emotions. Every emotion is a part of us and it should be allowed because it is a true physiological thing that we go through. Why else do we have emotions? Why else have we given emotions names? Um, and that realization that I'm allowed to do this and I don't have to survive every single day, that I'm allowed to say, I'm not coping. Yeah, that hurt. Yeah, I had a tough childhood. That's okay. But it's that acceptance, that compassion that is really important. And it's the first time in my life, I guess, that I've actually gone, I'm allowed to be like this. And it's okay, which is huge, massive. Breaking down that wall, that survival, that protection, being vulnerable, being okay with that uncomfortable feeling, that uncomfortable place, knowing that I am safe. There is no judgment, and tomorrow's another day. has really given me space to be able to look internally and try and understand who I am, who I want to be, and how do my children and my family experience me, and how has that impacted them? And it's getting there. It's a slow process, but every day is a learning curve, and every day I'm not going to get it right every day, which I notice, but I can step back and then go back to them and saying, look, I overreacted, or this wasn't okay, but I am now, and this is what I want to say. And that's been really important to them too, to see that softer side of me, to not always just be pushing them because it doesn't work for them. It's not what they need. So it's it's changed our relationships for the better.
Yeah, so as you've softened towards yourself, and that softness is being felt by your children.
Mm, yeah.
And I guess we live in a world where, punishment is so strong. Like we're told that we should do this and do that and act in this way. And if we
Hmm.
don't, then there are consequences.
Yeah.
And I guess this work is about understanding that consequences don't really work.
No.
Because
And I find it with neurodivergence as well. It's society is built for the general population. There are rules put in place. Yes, they're for a reason too, but societal norms of looking someone in the eye when you're talking to them doesn't work for certain people. And there is no compassion, there is no understanding that some people can't do that and shouldn't be expected to do that. And that can really hurt someone, especially for my children. And then just trying to explain to them as well, it's like, it's okay. You're different. This is who you are. You can be whoever you want to be. You're allowed to feel what you want to feel, and you're allowed to show those emotions. That's okay. And they just look at me going, but I'm like, yeah, no, but that's not you. This is you. And what you're feeling, that's what you're feeling. That's okay. And they just all look at me going, huh, okay, huh. And it's changing their thought pattern as well, um, which is pretty cool to see.
yeah, and I mean, this is why I'm so passionate about this work is because when we start to work on ourselves and start to change ourselves, when we can have that self-compassion towards ourselves, that starts to ripple out to our
Mm,
children, to our partner, to the people that we meet at school or work or wherever. And that's how we're going to change the world. Because if we're just in this place of judgment and criticism, it's creating that disconnection from each other,
hmm.
and that lack of compassion and understanding that someone's not acting in a way that they are to be difficult or to be annoying. They're acting in the way they are because of what happened to them, because of the experiences they've
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
And I mean, you've had a lot of big experiences in your childhood.
yeah.
There was divorce, there was separation from your mum, there was moving
Hmm.
countries, feeling unsupported. And
Hmm.
how do you now see that those early years shaped the way that you learned to cope as an adult?
I guess I just I learned that you just survive. You do it yourself. There's no one else. No one else. There's not, I can't whine or complain about something. I've just got to do it. This is the way it is. So I just move on. Um, and yeah, that took its toll. At the same time, it did. it did give me certain qualities that in certain challenges I can push through because I know it's going to be fine, and that's what I've learned. So I will stay strong, but it's also a negative because I will push through with sports, creating injuries. And that's my body going, too much. Um, and that's paying its toll now. It is who I am, but I'm understanding it and putting it into a different place and working through what I needed to work through then, now, to help put all of that into place in my body to make me stronger as a person. What I experienced was what I experienced. I can't change that, but it's how I understand it and understand how it affects me and my emotions. That's what's important to me at the moment. And then going forward, learning to notice the triggers, to then stop those and find a more compassionate way, softer way to express what's happening, I guess.
Yeah, amazing. And, what we go through in our life, we come up with these strategies to survive, right?
Hmm.
Because we have to survive. And so you develop such good coping strategies. But I guess it's that realization that an adult, that coping strategy is a bit outdated.
Hmm.
And we can still take the good from that coping strategy, but realizing when it's actually hindering our life and not supporting it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have to have that wall the whole time. I don't have to fight every day. And I think that's what we discussed as well, is that I had that feeling as though I had to fight every day. And I had it like, why can't I? Why does it have to be this way? It was that negative thought that I want it to be different. I wish, which is me still being in flight and survival. I can now see, like, I can do this. Yeah, it's going to hurt. That's okay. Because I know I've got my support here. And if I fail, okay, have a look at it. Why? Use it. It's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with that. So the narrative of how I look at challenges now and how I look at difficulties is completely different. It was always, I'm tired of fighting. Why do I have to fight? Why do I have to keep battling with my children? I wish it could be easier. But I make it that way by thinking that. But that's what's always been there. It's always just this tension and this, oh, and now it's not, now it is definitely like, some days it is still there and I still feel that, but I can stop myself more often now and go, nope, breathe, wait, what are you thinking? Why are you thinking that? Where's that coming from? Is it real? Have a look at the situation. And 8 times out of 10, no, it's not.
Without sharing anything that you'd rather keep private, can you talk about a moment in our work together that really surprised you? Maybe when you realized, wow, I had no idea that that was still living in me.
We talked a lot about me as a younger girl at a certain age that I really went, whew. I had no idea she was aching, that she was there and what she needed. Um, I think that was for me one of the biggest moments where I went, okay, yeah, I kind of get it actually. And just going back and talking to her and letting her know that I'm here as my older self. that was very empowering, actually. Figuring out that what I missed as a child, what I internally needed, wasn't given, and how that then affects you as an adult. Still powerful. Yeah, still
Yeah.
powerful.
And in my work, there is always a big theme around your children's behavior and your
Mm.
own inner child. So, can you share a bit about the connection and what you began to see differently? Like, what patterns did you notice repeating where you could see your younger self and your children or that dynamic?
Yeah, I really started to observe them and what they did and how they said things, and they were doing exactly the same. They were surviving. They were fighting back because they feel as though they're not being heard, they're not being supported. So a lot of anger, um, a lot of the behavior that I see them do, I now can see myself at that same age, which is just bonkers. It's like, oh, hang on. Um, and then going back and talking to myself at that age and understanding what was going on for me at that age really made me able to go into them and understand why they're doing that. And then also maybe what they need, what they really need. And that they were just copying what I had been taught, what I had done as a child to survive, and what I was still doing as an adult. Don't be loud. Shush, be quiet. We're still sleeping. You got to keep it down. Why? Why do they need to do that? They're different children. They're being children. But why do I need them to be quiet? That's my first instinct. Be quiet. I'm like, hang on. That's what I was told. That's what I experienced. And that's automatic in there. And you're just like, oh shit, again. But yeah, it's just like, no, they don't need to be. They're not me. They don't have to be me. I don't have to put this on them. And it's just little things like that that I'm like, okay, yep, I see where this is coming from. And I don't need to do that for them. I then understand something's happening internally for them and they don't know how to express it. And I'm slowly every day learning a little bit more about them and how they function and what's happening for them on the inside, which means I can ask them a different question to get to their inner feelings. And I can say, look, I can't help you right now, but I can be here. And that's all they need. They just need someone to sit with them and be close, to know that there is support if they need it, that they're understood, and they're not alone. And I didn't have that. And I don't want that for my kids. Going
Yes.
back and giving myself that understanding, being able to tell myself, sorry, those simple words just shift it. I don't know, it made such an impact. Still don't understand exactly how or why, but yeah, it made such an impact. And for quite a while after a session, I would be shattered, drained, just felt completely poof. Um, because there's so much energy that has moved, that has come out, and that you actually use, and just letting that flow, you understand how much more energy there is actually in your body that's stored in there, that is constantly running. and taking up so much of your energy and your time, and that's not giving space for the feelings and things that actually need it. Yeah. And there's still big shifts. There's still massive shifts. And there will be for a very, very long time. And I'm welcoming it. I'm seeing where it'll take me.
I love that, Renee. And
Hmm.
I think you said, and I know it's true for me, that, when we start a bit of a journey of emotional discovery, we sort of think that we're gonna do some work and get to the finish line, and there we go, we're there. And
Yeah.
then as we begin the work, more opens up and more opens up, and then actually you just surrender to, this is what life's all about. Like, we're on this journey of discovery, and it
Mm.
becomes this beautiful journey of, yeah, of discovery and healing, and it's sort of, it no longer becomes a destination that you need to get to.
Yeah. It's definitely not an end goal. For me, it is now just being there for my kids and myself and just experience. The word experiencing comes back an awful lot. Just being me right here, right now. Because all the rest of it, it'll come, it'll happen. But if,
Well, I mean, that's what you're meant to be, right? You are Renee, and that's
yeah,
what you're here in life to do. You're not here to be anybody else.
no, no. And yeah, I can, all of this has also helped me in my health and well-being work. It'll help me in my occupational therapy work because it's all about understanding a person. And that's something that there's a whole paper at uni that's directed to experiencing occupation. Like, who are we? What do we want? Why do we do things? Why do we do things in a certain way? Really getting deep into that person and understanding that person and what drives them and who they are is so important. And I really get it now because I've experienced it firsthand. What is driving me? Who do I want to be? And yeah, it has definitely some days felt very overwhelming that I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want because I haven't had the chance to actually allow myself to be that person. And I'm sort of getting to that point where I don't care what other people think because I always did. I don't care anymore because it's about what I want. And if that doesn't align with someone else, tough, up to you. And it's pretty scary to think that way and sort of like feel that way. And at the same time, it's very freeing. I don't have to take on that person's energy anymore. Because that's what I was doing. I was taking on everyone else's emotional load because I felt that I had to fix it. Because that's what I'd always felt as a kid. Parents are arguing. Oh, was that me? Did I do that? Shall I fix that? No, because that's not my argument. That's not me. I don't have to deal with that. Um, and that's really given me space, which, yeah, gives me space to go down another rabbit hole.
And just going back to what you said about how you often felt quite exhausted, and I know
Mm,
a number of times before we'd start a session and you'd say that you didn't really want to be there
yep,
and that you felt like you didn't have time for it.
yep,
And then afterwards, you'd often say that you were so glad that you showed up. And I see this so often because we're wired to avoid discomfort, right?
yep.
And yet, this work is all really about learning to get more comfortable being in discomfort.
Hmm.
So, from your perspective, can you share what you noticed or felt after a session, even when you hadn't wanted to come at the start?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of hesitation to come in because I knew I was going to burst out in tears again. And I didn't want to do that again. But I knew why that was there. Um, afterwards, it was just like, it was, it was something lifted. I felt lighter. I felt as though something had been taken away from me that I didn't have to deal with anymore. It was a weight that had gone, and that released a lot of stuff physically, physiologically as well. Um, Quite often you'd need to go to the toilet, bowel or bladder. It, that it's connected. Those emotions, that nervous system, it's all connected. And when you let go of emotions, the body relaxes, which means the body can let go of other stuff. Funnily enough, I also felt sometimes that my pain, my chronic pain, was less.
Well, in
So
my mind,
obviously,
that's not funny, but
well, it
but
is funny
you
when you don't realize it, that
exactly,
that's
it
connected,
totally,
right?
yeah.
It was just like, oh, hang on. And I sort of like understood. You talked a lot about what body parts meant certain things, and it really made sense. So knee pain, I was nervous to go forward. I didn't want to go forward. And so my knees were telling me not to. Shoulders, carrying weight of other people. And when I let go of that weight, my shoulders felt better, wasn't as stiff. And it's just like, oh, hang on. That connection to the the physical and the physiology, I found fascinating. And yeah, it was just, I felt depleted and drained, but that was literally just energy. I was letting go of energy that was stored, that was holding on for so long. And it made me feel good. It made me feel I'm not broken. I don't need to fix anything. Nothing is wrong in my family. We just need to understand each other. And that's all there is. And it actually brought on a lot of discussions with my husband as well, as like, how did you experience your childhood? How does this for you? And like, we had quite open conversations about how I felt things internally about my past, as he had been part of that past as a young child. Um, and it was really nice to let go and to talk about it because we didn't. We still don't as a family. I would never breach these conversations with anyone because I know how hard that would be. And I know the pushback I'd get. And that's fine. So it was really nice to be able to talk about it and just say, I needed that. I needed a hug at the time. I needed someone to say, I'm sorry, or I hear you, I see you. And it was just like, oh, huh. And my mind just went down all these different ways, and it made me think about my past and think about me now and think about my children. And it opened up a whole new conversation in my head to
So
start.
how would you say your relationship with your husband and children has changed since doing this work?
I'm calmer, which is crazy because I'm never calm. Um, we can more easily say to someone, look, you need to step away from it. We can see it better. Like, I can see you're getting tense. I can see you're getting heightened. Step away for a minute. And instead of turning around and going, no, I'm fine, I'll go, okay, cool, thanks. I'm out. And we'd know why I'm sitting out on the step because that's what I need. It's made the dynamics smoother. There's not as much judgment or anger towards why we do something like that. There's more understanding and there's more talk about how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that way. And like, hey, I did the same thing as you when you were a kid, when I was a kid. I can understand where you're coming from and what you're doing, you know. Um, yeah, it's definitely a smoother relationship. There's still times when our kids and us, but that is also normal. But we always seem to be able to come back and and heal that break. And I think that's really important is that we show the kids that we got it wrong. You know, I blew up. Yep. But we come back and we explain and we go, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. This is what I was feeling. And most of the times they'll go, that's okay, Mama. And I'm like, okay, you're 8, you're 11. Cool. And yeah, that makes me proud as a parent that they'll go, yeah, this happens and that's okay. You didn't mean it. And they're now starting to go when they have a meltdown, they say pretty horrible things. And I'll go afterwards like, that hurt me. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean to. It just came out. I'm like, yeah, I know, it does. And that's okay. But you're saying sorry now. And that's really good. That's what I like. And he's like, oh, okay. And then we move on.
Yeah, I love that. And that's really the essence of this work is understanding that we're human, that we're going to make mistakes, we're going to do
Mm,
things that we regret, but we can find that space inside of ourselves to have that compassion, to have that understanding, to let the walls around our heart come down a bit and really deeply connect with each other.
mm, yeah.
So you've talked about the difference of what you were saying to your children
Hmm.
and the energy that you were unconsciously sending out.
Yeah.
And like, how did that land for you and come into your awareness? And how has it shifted the way you communicate with it?
I think before I started with you, you get taught all this positive parenting. Yeah, say this, say that. And you can say those words, and yet nothing happened because they were still feeling the energy inside of me that was still negative. And I didn't get that. I'm saying these words. Why aren't they listening? And it was exactly that. They're not listening to the words because it's what they're feeling. These little creatures feel more than that they actually hear. And especially when they're heightened or when I'm heightened, physiologically, their ears close, which I only learned recently. And they don't hear as well because they're protecting themselves. I'm like, oh, huh. I had no idea that just my energy was impacting them. That's what they were following. And then it's just like, this is this. So now they feel my energy more of what is happening and they can connect it to the words I'm saying. So when I say, look, that really hurt my feelings, that's also what I'm sending out energy wise, and they connect better to it. Um, so there's this big shift there. And I can feel their energy when they're angry. It just radiates. And that's what I'll say. Look, I can feel what's happening here. I can see you just like, I don't say I see your emotion this way. I talk about their energies, their vibes, what I see in their bodies. And that's way easier for them to understand.
Yeah, well, I think we forget that like children come into this world and when they're born, they have no idea what words mean. They
Mm-mm.
don't know what all these concepts are that we have as adults. And so they just sense energy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they are reading our energy all the time, not actually listening to the words.
Mm.
And so when we can shift our energy, that is so powerful.
Yeah. I also, so like, when I feel myself really ramping up, I will remove myself because I know that that energy is not what is needed right now. That's just going to cause even more fights because as soon as I start ramping up, my kids start getting into fight mode. and they're just copying. They just sense, oh, that's going up, so I'm going to go up because I need to protect myself then too. And how quickly they can pick up on that. And unfortunately, neurodivergence, ADHD, dopamine, we love a fight and we all go for that fight. And I see my little one, especially, as soon as I'm up like this, he's there fighting back. And then I get angry because he's fighting back. And I'm like, right, I'm out. And it brings it all back down again so quickly. It's just, and it's nuts. I still stand there sometimes going, what? How quickly it is picked up on. And I don't, the words don't matter. It's what you feel. And that is exactly it. It's so powerful. We're all electrical beings. That's what we're sensing. And I notice as well, get outside. I say to my, go outside. Bare feet, go out. Get the sun on your face, get your feet in the grass. And it's almost like he's deloading of energy and just getting back down, grounded. And I noticed such a shift. And I'm like, we've got to remember this, that we are just picking up on vibes. It's just energy. Um, yeah, and I love to see how they change now. Now I'm not angry. Now I'm curious and like really enjoying watching some shifts in them. Um, so yeah, there's been such a big change, such a big change.
So if a parent is listening who feels exhausted, stretched thin, maybe with neurodivergent kids and
Yeah,
a lot of emotional load, what would you want them to know about your experience with emotional body release?
give it a chance because there's more there than you think, and you don't have to do it alone. Your energy is powerful. It is quite often the mums in the house because that's what mums do. They are wired. Children will automatically go to a mum because the kids lived inside of you. They've got your energy. Give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. If anything, you've got so much to gain about yourself, about your children. It is so freeing. And it really does give a space for you because you are important. And that was something I was always taught with complications during pregnancy. They looked after me first, and all I was going was look after my baby. They're like, no, because without you, there is no baby. And it's still the same. When your children are born, you are still the most important thing because without you, nothing is going to work. It is you who is so important. Give it a go. Let your internal emotions, let your hurt, let it be in a safe space that is protected, supported, and just find out. Because I'm not a spiritual person and all that, but I felt this. I'm a tangible person. I've got to feel it. I felt this. I'm still feeling it. And I'm forever grateful of the opportunity that I had to now explore this wonderful world with my kids going forward and instilling this in other people and helping others because it is empowering. And it is, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, just do it because there
Well,
is a lot there that mums need to hear.
Well, I
And
love that you've said that you feel it because
yeah,
really that's the biggest difference between, say, this work and a lot of other types of therapies is that when we actually hold that space and we're in it and we feel it in our bodies, it really starts to shift something. When we're stuck in our mind, we're just going round and round and round. And experiences are stored in our body, not in our mind. And so it's quite it's quite a challenge for someone to get that. But like you say, once you feel it and
Mm.
actually experience it, you start to make those connections. I mean, you talked about how you started to feel that your pain was different
Mm-hmm.
after a session. And I think that's one of the things that people struggle to make the connection with, is that how could my emotions and what I'm feeling actually be related to my knee pain or my back pain
Yeah.
or my gut issues or
Mm.
my whatever it is, my periods. And
Yeah.
actually, once you start to feel it, then you actually understand. And so it is really such an experiential thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's still so much I need to learn, um, and feel, and that will come, and that's okay, because I'm interested now. What else is there that's going on that I can give myself, but also give my children or others, and especially the mums. We put so much pressure on ourselves, so much, because we want what is best for our kids. We're very unselfish people, and yet sometimes you need to be selfish to be able to be there in the best way possible for yourself, for your partner, or for your children. And it's worth it. It totally is worth it.
So, yeah, what would you say to someone who's tried all the things, the diet, the supplements, the therapies, the lifestyle changes, but hasn't yet explored their emotions?
Why not? You've done everything else. If you're still not feeling right, why not give it a go? Because that is the last puzzle piece for the puzzle. You've done everything else. So obviously something's not quite right. So why not? Because it could just be that one piece that just needs to slip in there and you're good. Yeah, the body is a complex thing. It's not just made up of one thing. It is the cells, it is the muscles, it's the bones, it's the nervous system. And if you only treat part of it, you're not treating the whole body. It is the whole. And your emotions are part of that. So if you're going to treat just all the other stuff, you're not actually treating yourself. You're not healing yourself. You've got to heal everything, which means you've got to work on those emotions and those real deep emotions, because in essence, that is what's driving your body. Why else does the body function? It's part of it. So if you're going to do all the work, do that one too. Look at the whole, give yourself that grace to actually do that as well, not just the rest.
Well, thank you, Renee. Thank you so much for being here today, for
No problem.
sharing your story so honestly and openly with heart and vulnerability. I really appreciate it because it takes enormous courage to speak openly about parts of your lives that are messy and painful and confusing or
Hmm.
deeply personal, and you have done that with such grace today.
Thank you.
What you've shared, I know, is going to touch so many people who may be feeling similarly to you or how you did, stretched thin, navigating parenting, carrying old wounds, and not knowing where to start. And your willingness to sit in discomfort, to dig deep, and to show up yourself again and again has been truly inspiring. It's been such a pleasure to walk this journey with you, Renee, and I know listeners will feel less alone because of your openness, and many will see themselves in your experiences, especially those mothers that are carrying so much.
Hmm.
So, yeah, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting the process and for allowing us to witness today your transformation.
You're most welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Wholesome Wave podcast. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who could use a little wave of inspiration in their life. If you would like to explore emotional release work more deeply, you can connect with me at thewholesomewave.com. Remember, the healing you create in yourself ripples out to your loved ones and beyond.